There are so many things going on right now that I suppose requires some attention, but I'm a bit busy. I am um, working on the final stages of final round of editing for this book that I'm writing. Hopefully, I can finish it up because I don't have the time to work on it because when I was working, I, I just didn't have any time. I just didn't, when I get home from work, I am so tired and mentally drained that I just don't have the inspiration to write anything. So these past few months that I've been out of work has been very good in terms of I get the time to think and sometimes I get in the zone. Anybody who writes know like you get in a zone and you just start, you know, uh, putting your ideas on paper and there's this sense of I don't know what how to describe it, but there's this great feeling that you get when you see the finished thing and it's like exactly what you want it to be, right? But we have the Epstein files released, and that's making the rounds. We have um, social media influencers crashing out on social media. We have a bunch of stuff going on. We have this situation with the cold front that Jamaica is experiencing right now, and some schools in Jamaica. I was desperately trying to find the article to kind of like refresh my memory on which school. But I just couldn't find it. I went on Glean, I went on Observer, and I went on the Star, and I just couldn't find it. I kept scrolling, I just couldn't find it. But I saw Miss Pearly Grandson made another video regarding the issue where they're saying that it's several schools that are basically enforcing a dress code on students who are wearing, I guess, different kinds of sweaters to school as a result of the cold weather that we are experiencing in Jamaica. Understand that Jamaica has a tropical marine climate. We are not used to any kind of severe cold weather. So even me personally, even this, I bought it for style. I don't have any cold weather clothing because the time gets so hot. Even when it's supposed to be cold, the time gets so hot, so you don't really have anything for cold weather. And so you're just gonna wear what you have. If I was supposed to go to school, this is what I would wear. If I was supposed to go to work, this is and it has a hood. This is what I would this is what I would wear to work because it's what I have. You know what I mean? I don't have anything else. And so if I wear what I have to kind of ward off the cold, then it feels unreasonable for you then to because it's not this has nothing to do with the dress code. This has everything to do with a situation that materializes that is outside of everyone's control. And then to, you know, be so unmovable in whatever rules you implement. Because I think what a lot of people don't understand is that laws and rules are there for specific reasons to avoid specific behaviors and behaviors that systematically result in harm being visited upon someone or their property. That's it. So, insofar as you breaking the rule or breaking the law does not result in the thing that the law or the rule was trying to prevent, there should be no problem. My friend and I were having a discussion about the whole school situation and the schools turning back students or having them remove whatever article of clothing they wear to combat this cold weather that we have here in Jamaica. And he was saying that it is, the prime minister's responsibility to ensure that blah 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 blah. Right, and of course I disagreed, and because as I'm not saying that I'm right or he's wrong or whatever, I disagreed with he was saying that it was Andrew's responsibility to ensure that this doesn't happen, right? And I'm saying it's not Andrew's responsibility because I know in Jamaica, if somebody gets shot, it's the prime minister's fault, and we call on the prime minister to do something about it. If JPS is overcharging customers, it's the prime minister's fault, and we call on the prime minister to do something about it. And it just so it's not Andrew per se, just that Andrew so happens to be the prime minister at this time, right? So it would be any prime minister at all. Whatever issues that we're having, if there's price gouging going on, it's the prime minister's fault, and the prime minister must do something about it. Whatever problems we encounter, it's the prime minister's fault, and the prime minister must do something about it. And we do not understand that there are ministries and agencies set up specifically to deal with specific issues. So my friend was saying that this is a widespread issue, and the prime minister should now dictate to his minister of education to enact certain policies to prevent this from happening, right? And I'm saying it is not a issue for the prime minister to be blamed for, or in this respect to address. And I will explain why. We have to understand that each educational institution has a unique makeup, and the location adds to its uniqueness, and the complement of students adds to its uniqueness, and the quality and whatever of the infrastructure itself, right? And there are other factors to take into account. So the manager of that institution, being the principal of the institution, has to be given latitude to govern that institution according to the needs of the institution. So I am saying there is a general rule that each school has a particular dress code. When it comes to how that dress code is being enforced, the Ministry of Education cannot be prescriptive in its mandate, because when you are so prescriptive and you micromanage how schools operate, then it does not account for the unique situation of each individual institution. And so you may find that a prescriptive policy from the Ministry of Education may disadvantage a lot of students because their specific institution may not be able to comply in that respect. So it therefore falls on the principal, who is the manager of the institution, to ensure that he or she operates within the ambit of the policies of the Ministry of Education and apply it specifically to the unique circumstance that exists in their institution at the local level, so that schools can enforce a dress code policy. But if there is a special circumstance like we have now where there's a cold front, then it is within the discretion of the principal of the school to relax the dress code, and it wouldn't be something that the ministry would arbitrarily restrain you from doing or compel you to do. So I am saying in the instances where we're seeing that there are high schools or primary schools either turning students away because they're wearing sweaters that they feel is violate the dress code, or asking them to remove it, which is inhumane and unconscionable. This is a failure of leadership at the specific institution. And in my view, those principals who are, especially if they ask the students to remove the clothing, should be fired. Because it simply means that you do not have what it takes, the soft skills necessary to lead an institution of that caliber, especially where students are involved. It is inhumane and it is unconscionable, and to me, the consequence should be that those principals should be fired. But this is not something that we should lay at the Prime Minister's feet or at the Ministry of Education feet to say, oh, they should have done this. No, the principals are within their right to govern the institutions as they see fit. But where they abuse their power and their authority, that is when the ministry should step in and then take decisive action. And that is just my 2 cents.